All right. We have one more person joining. Very good participation in this session. Very good. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Clinton Benelli. I am the one of two chemistry teachers at Macalester. I teach both online and on campus, along with my colleague, Ms. Cush, who you may have had for Chem 1 online. She teaches strictly online classes, including chemistry for embalmers, as well as the first chemistry session and a couple other courses. I will try not to take up too much of your time tonight. What I have to go over is fairly quick, and then I'll open it up for questions, and we'll go from there. But before I begin, this might be a good time to ask you if you do have any questions, just to start off with. Maybe some will develop as we progress. Oh, somebody who's marked Drago.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had my default setup for what's it called, for Zoom happens to just be my username for everything else.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so my name is Mike. Sorry about that.
No worries.
So when it comes to everything from chemistry 1, how much I know, like, some people would like to say we're using all of chemistry 1, or I guess like a certain portion of it. How much of chemistry 1 will we be using? Like, what are some of the more important parts we should catch up on for chemistry 1, for chemistry 2?
Great. Well, why don't I share my screen and we'll get into that question first. All right, can you all see my I guess my Blackboard is open now? Yeah, okay, good. So as far as Chem 1 materials, you've probably gone into the weekly materials already. I'm going to turn this off teacher view for a moment. There we go. Your weekly materials look like this. I can see all the weeks, but you can't quite yet. You're seeing week 1. And if you go in there, week 1 is very robust, just like it was for Chem 1. Don't be discouraged by all of the information that's just been vomited to you on the screen. It's things like the syllabus and some of these instructions are really just introductory instructions to remind you of things such as procedures for technical problems, the fact that the midterm and final are proctored, all that stuff. So that should be review for you. Now to address Mike's question directly, Chem 2 is cumulative to Chem 1, so you do need to know Chem 1 information, not only for success in this course, but also because you'll see some questions from Chem 1 on the midterm and the final. And to help refresh your memory, especially if you didn't just take Chem 1 last semester, we do have 3 Intro to Chem review quizzes. One of them is actually located in week 1, the week that we are that I currently have open, but there's another one next week, and then there's another one in week 4. These review quizzes can be taken as many times as you like, and they are not for credit. So it kind of takes the pressure off there, and it's a great study tool. You'll probably see versions or even possibly some exact repeats of the questions that you see on these review quizzes, you'll see on the midterm and final. As I go in here, obviously I'll get back to the lecture stuff and everything, but the question has to do with reviewing for Intro to Chemistry. This is the review. It tells you right here, it allows for multiple attempts. And if I were to begin it, it kind of looks like this. It's all true, false, multiple choice, maybe a matching or section or two. And so, yeah, this is great practice. And we'll give you an idea of perhaps what you need to study from Chem 1 in order to do well on the midterm and the final, the portions of the midterm and final that have Chem 1 questions on them. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to mention about this. What is it? Oh, yes. There is some Chem 1 material that is really helpful to review to get started for this course. And that would be found in week 8, or I'm sorry, the week 8 of the previous course is where you would find a lot of that. So if you did not save your notes from Chem 1, from Intro to Chemistry, sorry, I'm using euphemisms here, then you can find it, I believe it's right on this front page of announcements. If you were to scroll down, a few down, it says Intro to Chem Notes, and you can scroll all the way through here. So week 1 of this course, for those of you especially who've taken it recently, will be starting with, essentially, it's almost like a repeat of week 8 from Chem 1. Note that these links, for whatever reason, don't appear to be in order. So where it says Gen 313, that was the course number for Chem 1, week 8, module 2. If you click on this link, it's going to start you off a little bit into the lecture. So you would want to click on module 1. We'll see if did that pop up here in an Adobe file for you. You should be able to see week 8, module 1, and that's when we started talking about organic chemistry. And really, this will probably look familiar to your printouts from Chem 1 because it's the exact same thing. Really, all of Chem 2, for the most part, up until we get up to biochemistry and such. But for several weeks at the beginning, we are going to be talking about organic chemistry. So having the background of this last lecture from Chem 1 will help you to transition very well into the week 1 of Chem 2. All right, does that help answer your question, Mike? Good, I saw your nod there. Thank you for that. Since I'm already sharing my screen, I'll just start where I would have. Obviously, this is the announcement page. It's probably what shows up when you enter the course. The introductory message here, it's important to note that just like Chem 1, all of your weekly quizzes are due by 2 p.m. each Sunday. Okay, I believe this week we just have a discussion board. I'm just going to check to make sure. So this week, certainly highly recommend. Oh, my pictures of all of you are covering my screen. Okay, very important to go through the lecture, perhaps after reviewing week 8 from Chem 1. Now, there's no quiz this week. There's a discussion board which counts as the quiz grade. Before I get to that, though, I'm going to bounce up to the lecture. When you're taking your lecture, or when you're in your lectures, it'll probably look similar to this. There's probably a table of contents along the side. As you go through, you have a right. Wow, I haven't seen student view in a while. This is pretty fun. Okay, you can go through. There are 30 pages, but they're not the size of like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. There, as you can see, this page is just a chart. But as you go through, and I'll skip through here, you'll see along the way, just like in Chem 1, some mini quizzes. And if I click to launch that, you're just going to see usually 5 questions. Indeed, there are 5 here. And you answer them one at a time. Maximum number of bonds that can be used to connect 2 carbon atoms. Oh, I know that one. So go through them. Let's see how I do. Why not, right? Functional group CHO is found in aldehydes. Yeah, okay. Are usually flammable, organic. Okay. I guess I'm at an advantage because I kind of wrote some of these questions. The alkyl group formed when hydrogen is removed from C3 is a propyl radical. Okay. May every poor boy pass is the thing for that. Combining capacity of 2, that would be oxygen. Okay, and then when you get done with this, with each of these review quizzes, you'll be able to see your results. And it says I have 5 out of 0 points. It's actually intentional. I'm experimenting with this first quiz to see if I can do something fun with it. But yeah, the neat thing about these miniature quizzes embedded within each lecture is that as you can see, this, if you can see in the table of contents here, the one that's highlighted, week 1, unit 1 review quiz, just asks questions based on the few pages that you've read so far. And then you'll know very quickly if you have a weakness, before you finish reading the entire unit. And that will be helpful because, it'll make you more confident going into your weekly quiz. There will be one in week 2 that covers everything from week 1 and week 2. So obviously this week it's just a discussion board, but next week when you do have a quiz, having done these little mini review quizzes, which do not count for credit, so they're not going to hurt you if you do poorly, will give you a good idea though of where your weaknesses lie and where you need to improve. So I think that's something that I would highly recommend that you do. You may have heard that, I'm sorry, the review quizzes are treated the same as the unit review. Oh, it looks like, yeah. The person a gentleman messaged me asking me if the review quizzes that are open are treated the same as the unit review quizzes, or are those separate grades? I think that question is basically like, do these little quizzes count the same? And then I got a thank you. So I must have just explained it before seeing the chat. But yeah, they do not count. So they're for practice. However, while the school has done away with granting extra credit in recent times, over actually really just the last month, the idea there is that we want everybody to have a good idea of whether they're prepared to take the boards. And if we're heavily, there were a few teachers who were heavily curving and probably not giving the students a good idea of how they were really doing. However, with permission, which we've gotten, if you do at the end of the semester, if you have done each and every one of these review quizzes that don't count for credit, we will the royal we, I guess, I'm your teacher, but I teach along with Miss Cush, who teaches a couple of the other sessions, and we just did a couple joint sessions, so I'm just used to saying we now. But if you do all of them, I will give you some extra points on your final grade. So if me telling you that taking these will improve your midterm and final exam scores wasn't enough, the fact that you'll get a little bit of extra credit on top of that should be good. So you'll not only do better on the midterm and the final, but your final grade will be slightly improved as well by having completed these quizzes with a maximum, of course, of 100. Your final grade will be no higher than 100. So if you're a whiz kid who's already getting that, you probably didn't need to do the review quizzes, but yeah, the maximum grade you can achieve in this class is 100%. Okay, on to the next here. Okay, gotta navigate out of this. And I'll just make sure I went through everything I wanted to on the proctoring. ProctorU is our sole proctoring service. If you use Remote Proctor now in the past, you probably already switched over because it's been ProctorU for a while, but definitely make sure that you are set up for proctoring for your midterm and your final. Obviously there are a lot more schools, not so much as last year per se, but a lot more schools are doing proctoring because of the ongoing pandemic issues and issues meeting in person. So we've been using ProctorU all along, but their appointments have been higher in the last couple of years. So I would do that as soon as possible. The person to ask questions about with ProctorU or with anything related to Proctor is Miss Valvano, and she can be reached where I've just highlighted on your screen here, proctor@aami.edu. Feel free to copy me on any emails you send to her so that I'm in the loop. Between the two of us, we should be able to assist you. And during like midterm and finals week, she is basically glued to her computer, answering messages at all times of the day and night. So yeah, but the biggest advice I can give you there is get it done early particularly if you're within, I think, 3 days of the exam. If you still haven't signed up, not only do you risk not having a time available, but they believe Proctor charges you a premium charge for last minute registration. So so yeah, make sure you do it early. In the unlikely event that you are a military student in active status, you can actually get an alternative proctoring option. So that's something to ask Miss V about. I already went over, I think, yeah, that we do have all of the Chem 1 notes on here. Zoom introduction, obviously you're here, you knew what was happening, so that's good. I will get into the syllabus and the course outline now. Oh, I actually pulled them up already, but on this page here, under the heading on the left here, syllabus and course outline with due dates, the syllabus, which is this first link, will pop up, and it looks like this, just like all your other syllabi and all your other classes. There's not much to go over here that you don't already know. It's identical to Chem 1 in just about every way, except you're just learning some new material. Just a reminder, though, that the midterm exam is worth 30% of your grade. Your final exam is worth 50% of your grade. So right there, that is 80%. We see every semester students taking the weekly quizzes very seriously, to the point where they're looking at their notes when they're taking them. They score really well because it's not a proctored environment, and they feel the temptation and probably the thought that, hey, you know, I wasn't feeling comfortable this week, but I'll get it together by the midterm. And inevitably the midterm comes around, and all of a sudden a student who's been scoring 90s and 95s gets a 30 on the midterm, and you know, starts thinking, oh, maybe I'm not a good test taker. All of that, doesn't learn from that, and then fails the final too. If you're doing those little weekly mini quizzes within each lecture, and if you are honestly taking your quizzes without the use of notes, then you'll have a better idea of where you're, like I said, where sound like a broken record, where your weaknesses lie, and you'll do better on the midterm. This semester, I think I mentioned just a moment ago that previous to this, I did 2 orientation sessions at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So I've been on Zoom for the last 2.5 hours, but not the entire time. We didn't go the full hour, but the first hour at 5 o'clock, we did orientation for both sections. There are 2 this semester of Chem 1. And then at 6 o'clock, I did section 1 of chemistry for embalmers. Normally, we would do a joint Zoom with both section 1 and section 2. But there's something different happening in this section, which I alluded to in my announcement email to you to join tonight. And it is, I think, rather exciting. And we're testing it on you all, your guinea pigs, but in a good way. As I mentioned, we have a problem with students who look at their notes on the weekly quizzes and then don't do well on the midterm and final. To take and remember, those quizzes, those weekly quizzes only make up 10% of your grade. So doing that note, looking at your notes really won't help you that much. You know, if you're doing poorly on the midterm and final, which make up collectively 80% of your grade. So without further ado, when you go in, or when you are in Blackboard, let's see, it might actually even announce it. I'll need to go into teacher view because we don't have a quiz this week. So I'm going to go into week 2. Week 2, you can see that there's that second intro to chemistry review, by the way, and the lecture. If you prefer to print out your lecture notes, by the way, it's right here. There's a link there, but you can't take those mini quizzes in the printable notes. So make sure you still go into the lecture itself on your computer, the one where you have to, you know, scroll through the pages. Because the printable notes are literally just a PDF file, that thing that's showing up on your screen right now. Okay, sorry, I keep delaying this exciting announcement. A little review there. Okay, so there we have test 1. Oh, and this is actually outdated. I can see already. I didn't do any of this within the weekly thing. I did it programming. It says here that click on test one link below to begin. You can only take it one time, and the time allowed is 60 minutes. Good luck. That's a similar announcement to what you saw in Chem 1 and probably in your other classes. If you go in here, however, that little note is immediately contradicted because it says, okay, it's a 1 hour test. Okay, that's not contradictory. Timer setting, okay, that's fine. Once started, it needs to be completed in one setting. That's true. But then look at this, multiple attempts. Now it says that this test allows multiple attempts. Whoa, this is big. So this is how it works. The weekly tests just for this semester can be taken up to 3 times. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is remove the pressure from you to do well by looking at your notes. I want you to take it cold. And I think by giving you 3 opportunities to do so, you will take it cold. And after you take it the first time, it's going to tell you what questions you got wrong, but it's not going to tell you why you got them wrong or what the correct answer is. So this additional layer in this whole scheme will tell you what's wrong, but will make you go through the effort of looking up why it was wrong. You're going back to your notes and looking it up. And I guess and then you can go back and take the quiz again 2 more times for a total of 3 attempts. After you've made your 3rd attempt, or maybe you didn't, maybe you got a 100 the first time, or a 90 or a 95, and you're happy with that. That's fine too. But however many times you take the test, up to 3 times, the average of those scores will be recorded as your grade for that exam, for that quiz. I'm sorry. I call them quizzes, tests, I just call the midterm and the final exams. So I think that this is really exciting. What I'm hoping from this crazy idea that I had and had to get approved is that we will see better scores on the midterm and the final. So I think that this is going to be really exciting, and I'm happy that we're rolling it out as an experiment for one of our harder courses, because I think you'll all do better. So I hope you like that. If that's something, I can't say how you wouldn't, but if that's something that you don't want, let me know. Perhaps we can talk to your advisor and just get you a quick switch over to section 1 with Miss Cush, because we're only experimenting with this in one section, because if it's a horrible failure, which I'm sure it won't be, but we want it to affect as little students as possible. And obviously, if it was a horrible failure, I'm going to work to make it right. So, but does anybody have any thoughts on that? Do you like the idea? Do you have a suggestion? Or
I like the idea.
Yeah.
I love it, actually. Yeah, they need to do that for anatomy.
Right. Well, if this works out, then it probably will be more widespread, or maybe even become policy. So thank you all for your enthusiasm. Well, at least one of you for your enthusiasm. I see another smile, so maybe more than one of you are enthusiastic about this. I will say that I got the idea because I am currently in school for a grad program, and one of my classes did it this way, and I found that the temptation. Remember, did I tell you all? I was an online student too at McAllister. Did I tell you that in the beginning? So I've sat in your chair, not literally, not in your house, in my version of the chair in my house, and I have I've been through what you've been through. I've taken this course. As hard as it is, it was a lot worse when I took it, because I've made some changes, taken out some fluff, and tried to make it as applicable as possible to your future professions by adding some more like, hey, this is why we learn about this. Before that, even when I took it, I was like, how is this going to teach me how, well, for a lot of it, how is this going to teach me how to be a better female director? So I've tried to make some of those connections in my time teaching. It's been, I think I'm in my 18th semester teaching, 17th maybe. I don't know. I'm in my 6th year, so it's been a little while. And every semester we just try to improve a little bit. All right. Glad that was well received. Course resources is handy. You can find the actually, oops, that's not supposed to be there. Okay, good, it's not there. I thought I was giving you a preview of every single unit in this class. But there are there's a handy thing on embalming chemicals. I actually use it to this day. Oh, this isn't the one I was thinking about. But yeah, it's still useful. Yeah, the other one I think is actually in your week 8 lecture now that I think about it. Okay, and then the Chem 1 notes there, and then there are some scientific prefixes and root words that you'll also find probably very helpful in this course as well, and in a lot of your other courses. I don't think there's anything below this. Yeah, just I think the next one is a suffix list, and then that's it. There's a glossary down there. So I think that's all I needed to cover, but now it's question time. So which of you has questions, I guess?
When we do the weekly tests, if we do take it more than once, will it be the same questions over and over? Or will they change a little bit just so that we grasp the material?
That's a great question. So let me get you an accurate answer real quick. I teach a bunch. I teach the most classes on campus and online, so I want to make sure I'm giving you the correct answer. Okay, I'm going to turn on edit mode. Just go into one of these quizzes and test. Okay.
I literally had the same question.
Oh, three minds think alike. So at least if I'm looking at the first quiz, it's not pulling from a pool of questions. So every
Okay.
one of you are going to see the same questions probably, but in different order, and that may be how it goes in future weeks too. There may be a quiz or two where you'll probably see the questions in different order on additional
Okay.
tips, and there's a possibility that there might be a quiz that is based on a pool of questions. It won't be a large pool of questions, so taking that quiz again will maybe pop up a couple questions you haven't seen before, if that's the case, but it shouldn't happen in week 1. And if it happened in any subsequent weeks, it would be minimal. Great question. I like that. Thank you for asking. What else?
Hello.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
Quick question for you.
Sure.
Midterms and finals, will you be providing a study guide for us, or should we start building one now?
Yes. Yeah, you'll see that as we get closer. But I would build one as well. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, we should have one out to you around week 2, week 3 at the latest. It should be right in your unit notes. If for some reason it didn't populate in there, we don't seem, I really did a fine-tooth comb with this course this semester, because there was something where the courses copied over last semester. There was a programming issue, and we had to backtrack and correct some things. You might remember that from some of your classes. So that affected Chem 2 as well, and I was extra careful this semester. I'm sure there's still a hiccup or two, but you'll let me know about that and I'll program it correctly.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. What else, if anything? All right, so the major purpose of this was to announce the multiple attempt quizzing options. I know in Chem 2, like I said in my announcement, I know it's tempting not to come to an introductory Zoom recording, and of course I'm recording this anyway, but I appreciate all of you who came live. And if any of you do have questions, please feel that maybe you weren't, feeling good about asking in front of other people, please feel free to stay behind. I'll stay on until the last person logs off, or you can send me an email, and I'm happy to address it. Oh, I forgot one thing. If you're having issues with a particular subject, within a particular week, please let me know too. I'm happy to open up a Zoom session to give you some tutoring. If a couple of you have the same question, then I'll know maybe I need to change the lectures a little bit and make that particular point a little more clear. I typically have Zoom tutoring on Sunday nights, which doesn't have healthy online students all that much. So I'm flexible with that. So we'll, obviously your weekly quizzes are due on Sundays at 2. So you might have a question that you need answered before that time, but feel free. The other thing, which once in a while somebody takes advantage of this in a good way, is that I teach this course as well as Chem 1 on campus as well, and I do have the capability of Zooming me actually live lecturing. I can get a little off topic. I'm very easily distracted in the classroom, and part of it I allow to happen because it's nice to take a little quick breather when we're really into it, right? A little break here and there. So some of it's intentional, but it can get a little wacky. And the students are all friends with each other. They gang up, and but the campus curriculum is 14 weeks, not 8, like the true credit courses are online. So chances are, if you're having an issue with a particular concept, we are probably covering it the following week. Like in my Chem 2 course. So it might be worth sending me a quick email saying, hey, can you open up Zoom tomorrow? Send it to me by Monday night, and you can send it Tuesday. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, by the way, that class is on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, until we go to Eastern Standard Time again. But then it's at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays, and I know that's not conducive to a working schedule necessarily, but if you do find yourself free or needing help, or you're at work but have a few moments to jump on Zoom, let me know and I'll be happy to open it up for you.
Do you do that for Chem 1 as well?
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just been a couple years since I've taken Chem 1.
So Chem 1 I teach at 8:50 a.m. On the same day, on Tuesdays. And
Okay.
if you send me an email on Monday night or by Monday night, I'll be happy to open it up for you.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. If as we get later in the semester, like when you're around, week 7, you're learning things that are way more advanced than my campus students. They've still got another, 5-6 weeks left of class, and you're up at the end. That might be a more appropriate time to have like a Zoom tutoring, either with a small group or just one-on-one. So don't feel guilty asking me about that. I mean, I get paid, I get compensated for it a little extra. It's nothing to write home about. I'm not trying to market it to you to make money. But I just mention it to say, hey, don't feel guilty about taking up my time. It's my job. I am a funeral director as well. But I've taken on a lot more classes, and I only really fill in at local funeral homes now when they need me, which is really nice. I have a very flexible schedule, so I'll be happy to help you out. What else do you have, if anything? Yeah, what's up, Mike? Mike, right?
Mike, so about the tests you mentioned before, I was wondering if the tests over time are going to be following through with the previous week, if they're going to accumulate eventually, where it's like week 8 will have a little bit from weeks 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and so on.
Yes, but not to a great extent. You may see a question or two, probably a basic one relating to earlier chapters, and if they do earlier units, and if they do, it's probably like a more recent unit. But yeah, so another reason why those weekly or those mini quizzes are helpful, because you can go back and just keep taking them and kind of re-up your knowledge on an earlier chapter, since you're not necessarily getting that many cumulative questions, if any, on whatever week you're in. So they're
So
great.
would it be feasible to, for the purpose of prepping before midterms and prepping before finals, take those mini quizzes again,
Oh, yeah.
despite already taking them before, just take them again anyway?
Well, if you've
to
reached
re-up.
your, oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the I'm thinking of the weekly quizzes, the you know, the ones at the end of the unit.
No,
You're talking about the mini quizzes. Yes, you can take them as those as many times as you want. Absolutely. It's just those the bigger weekly quiz at the end of the
Right.
unit that can be taken previously one time, now 3 times.
well, I was just asking your opinion on the viability of doing that as part of study.
Oh yeah, I did it and I found it to be very helpful. Yeah, that's great. You know, obviously teachers don't usually promote this, but Quizlet was helpful too. If you're using it the way they purport it to be used for, obviously it's used for more nefarious reasons from time to time. But if you're using it the way it's intended, then it'll be a good tool as well. And old-fashioned flashcards are really helpful. Mnemonic devices, you remember from I think it was the last unit. I think it's repeated again in the first unit of this course, but the last unit of Chem 1, you know, mnemonics like may every poor boy pass, you know, for meth, eth, pro, but, and pent, for those prefixes regarding the number of carbon atoms in the structure of a hydrocarbon. Yeah. So those mnemonic devices are fun. Remember Noble King Argon's neon helium balloon. I'm missing one. Noble King Argon's neon. Maybe it is. Yeah, neon helium balloon did nothing here on Earth. I thought I was missing one of the noble gases, but those are very helpful as well. If you come up with a good mnemonic, let me know. I'll put it into the lecture. I'm always happy to hear some new ideas or a funny chemistry related meme that I can add to a lecture to make it a little more fun. You know, I've been looking at that same cat from Chem 1. Do you remember that? The cat is like the teacher and there's a blackboard behind it, and I think atoms make up everything. Is you know, you can't never trust an atom, it makes up everything. I
That
think
was that was my introduction to science. Actually, it was
was in there
it
too.
was it was the H2O2 joke where
Oh
two
yeah,
guys
yeah. Oh
guys
yeah,
ordered,
that's I think the
water.
cat. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I
Yeah.
was thinking of a different one. Yeah, and the second cat ordered. Oh yeah, some of you might have tested out of Intro to Science. It's a cat saying, a man walks into a bar, orders, "I'll have an H2O," and then the other guy who comes in with them says, "I'll have an H2O2. I'll have an H2O2." As in water also, but H2O2 is the chemical formula for hydrogen peroxide, and the second man died. That's the punchline, because you know, funeral students will be receptive to a joke where the person dies at the end.
Yes.
For reasons, I guess. All right. What else do y'all have?
In the modules from Chem 1,
Mhm.
do they include the mini quizzes?
Oh, like the ones that are provided for you in Chem 2?
Yeah,
No, but that's why we have those intro to chem reviews located in weeks 1, 2, and I think
okay,
that's basically going to summarize all of those things.
okay.
Good question.
If by any chance you do need those review quizzes from Chem 1, I'm sitting here in front of all my books from Chemistry 1. I do have them if you guys need them.
Good to
Oh, that's
have.
awesome. I looked everywhere for my folder because I did save everything, and naturally I can't find it, and I'm going to find it in like 3 months or something, but
After the semester's
I
over.
have every single handout possibly printed with notes on notes of Chemistry
Yeah.
1,
Mhm.
all sitting here in front of me. So I'm happy to share with whoever needs.
Very nice. Maybe you'll all, you know, develop some sort of study group with each other. That'd be way better than
Yeah.
my experience.
Yeah,
That was
I'm
actually going to
definitely-
be my next point. I was going to ask if everybody would like to join like a group me or something so we could stay in touch. And if we have questions, if for some reason we can't reach you, Professor, at least we can ask each other.
Yeah, I might suggest,
works.
unless yeah, of course you can feel free to reach out to me, and if you want me to join in one of those, let me know, and
Absolutely.
I'm free. I'll come in and I'll leave appropriately so you can all gossip after. So,
That would be super, super helpful for sure. We
Yeah,
should definitely do it.
perhaps Matt, for those of you who are here right now, what's easiest for them to reach you? Should they send a direct message in this chat?
Either whichever works.
email
I'm
address,
currently
or-
working on throwing my group me in there. This way everybody can
Oh yeah,
take a
yeah,
look
that's
at it.
even better. Why don't you throw a group me in there? And gosh, I haven't used group me in years. I don't remember how it works. But
What's a group me?
group
Group
me
me is
like
a messaging app.
yeah, like a
Okay.
WhatsApp, right? If I recall correctly.
I'm not
it's-
very
I
savvy.
think it's more created for groups, like
It's free and you can talk no matter what kind of phone you have or whatever device you're working on. As long as you have internet, it works.
Okay.
we used it for our department at a previous job that I had, but that was a long time ago. I don't even know if I still have the app. All right.
I had everything from chemistry 1, but my laptop almost ended up kicking the bucket itself, so I had to do a full reset and I lost everything.
Oh no.
All my classes, every semester, everything gone.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I sent a link in the chat for everybody to see. I hope
Great.
it's the right one. If I get people to add, I'll throw us all in a group chat. This way we can stay in touch.
Yeah, it looks like it says Matt Ock. Is that how you say your last name?
Och.
Och.
Och, yeah.
Add contact. There you go.
There
So
you are.
it looks like you did it right.
Okay, that's something.
I've got to find my window for Zoom again. There you all are. Great. Okay. What else do y'all have? Oh, that was just a noise. Well, if you don't have anything else at the moment, I will start saying goodbye. But yeah, I hope you're all excited about the weekly quizzes, and I really do think that it's going to produce better midterm and final exam grades. And please know that I am here for you if you have questions. I've been through what you've been through. I'm happy to help in any way that I can that's appropriate. So please feel free. Smash that send button on emailing me or whatever. Like and subscribe. So yeah, with that, like I said, anybody who needs answers to additional questions, maybe in private or something like that, feel free to stay behind or send me an email. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming tonight. It's, I think, been a fantastic session, and I'm glad that you all are excited about the quizzes. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you guys.
Thank
You
you.
too. You too.
You too.
Be well, everyone.
Thank you.